This is Rockpool, the fun family game from Gibson's. Each player has a team of friends who are working together to clean up the beach before the tide comes in. The winner is the player who collects the most cards and ultimately has the most team members paddling in the rock pool at the end of the game. In your game, you will find 1 rock pool board, 36 team cards. There are 6 teams in total, each with a different colour and name. Each team has 5 child cards and 1 dog card. 65 shell cards, you're trying to collect these ones. 15 creature cards, these pesky cards steal your shell cards, so you want to try and avoid these. 10 starfish cards, these are wild cards and add to your score at the end of the game. 14 dog toy cards, the dog on your team wants to collect dog toys rather than shells. Try to collect as many varieties of dog toys as you can. 12 rubbish cards. These cards will help or hinder your final score. This will be explained later. And 8 wave cards. These wash away cards that are in the middle of the rock pool. The game finishes when the 8th wave card is revealed. Place your character cards in front of you around the board. Now you're left with cards that all have a stone on the back. Separate the 8 cards that have waves on the front and put them to one side. Shuffle the remaining stone cards and divide them into 7 piles. Place them face down around the board. The oldest player should add a wave card to each of the 7 piles of stone cards and roughly shuffle the pile again so no one knows where they are in each deck. Next, the youngest player must secretly place the 8th wave card at the bottom of one of the 7 piles. Another player then secretly arranges the cards, so no one knows which pile has the 8th wave card. Players take turns taking the top card from any pile of stone cards and revealing what type of card it is by turning it over and placing it in the middle of the rock pool. Once the cards have built up in the middle, players must shout out key phrases in order to clear the rock pool and collect the cards that have been placed in the middle. But this is where you need to be clever, because you want to make sure you are picking up the best selection of cards for your team. At any time, any player can choose to shout a call to empty the rock pool. Each team card can only be used once, so you only have 6 chances to collect from the rock pool. Rock pool! Because the orange shell card was on top of the rock pool pile, the little boy with the orange shell symbol is the team member who shouted out rock pool. He can't be used again, so turn his team card over. He also gets any rubbish cards and star cards, so pop them behind him too. Like the shell cards, the creature cards show shells of different types and colours. Shell and creature cards should be placed under the team cards with the matching shell type. Place any dog toy cards under your dog card. Gameplay continues with each player taking turns to take the top card from any pile of stone cards. There are 3 other ways to empty the rock pool when the top card is not a shell. Shout rubbish, fetch, or starfish when the corresponding card is on the top of the pile. If you shout rubbish and empty the rock pool, place the rubbish cards to one side as a reward for cleaning up the beach. The person with the most rubbish at the end of the game gets to add another team member to the rock pool. Starfish cards are wild cards, so any team member that is not turned over can collect these. If you shout the wrong word for the type of card added to the rock pool, or try to use a team card that has already emptied the rock pool, then you do not empty the rock pool and you must pay a penalty by discarding any shell card, starfish card, or dog toy card that you have already collected. If you don't have any of those cards, you cannot pay the penalty. You may not shout again until another card is added to the rock pool, although other players must do so. If a player reveals a wave card, then all the cards that have built up in the middle of the rock pool get washed away and they cannot be used. Discard all cards from the rock pool into the washed away pile that sits to one side of the board and place the wave card next to the pile of stone cards that it came from. This helps players keep track of how many waves have already come in and how many are left. There are 8 wave cards in the deck. The game ends when the last wave card is revealed, or when everyone has turned over their team cards. We recommend everyone scoring at the same time by card type, so let's start with the purple shells. everyone pick up the pile of cards that lay under the purple shell collector. So here we can see that the player on the blue team has collected 2 purple shell cards and 1 creature card. The value of the purple shell is 4, but the creature card is worth -2 shells. So 4 purple shells minus 2 equals a total of 2 shells. Carry on scoring in this way for the other players. Now we can see that the orange team has the most purple shells with a score of 6. They are the only player who gets to send their child to the rock pool. It's a little different for the dog cards. Add up the number of dog toys and starfish they have collected and deduct points for any rubbish cards in their collection. All dogs who have a total of 1 or more dog toys after the deductions get to go paddling in the rock pool. The dog who has collected the biggest variety of different toys gets a bonus and can take another child card from their team to paddle with them as a reward. In this example, the red team's dog has collected 5 different types of dog toy, so they take another teammate to the rock pool. So, the red and green dogs get to play the rock pool, plus the red team gets to send an extra child card because their dog collected the most dog toys. Finally, the last cards to score are the rubbish cards, and we need to see which player has collected the most rubbish. Everyone picks up the cards that are in their rubbish pile. Remember, these are the cards you collected when you shouted rubbish. Because you shouted rubbish, the score of the cards needs to be read as a plus, not a minus. So the orange team have the highest total with 11. This means that they get to choose another one of their team cards to paddle in the rock pool. Now that everyone has sorted their cards, it's time to see which player has the most team members paddling in the rock pool. The blue player collected the most green and blue shells, so they send 2 children to the rock pool. The green player collected 4 dog toys, so their dog card is in the rock pool too. The orange team not only collected the most orange and purple shells, they also collected the most rubbish. So they have 3 team members playing in the rock pool. And finally, the red player collected the most pink and orange shells, and their dog collected 3 dog toys and had the biggest variety of toys, so they have 3 children and a dog playing in the rock pool. This means they are the winner! And that's how you play Rockpool. Full rules are included inside the box. Visit the Gibsons website to get your hands on a copy.